Well, looks like I'm already live. What happened there? What's going on, everybody? Happy aloha. What is today? Wednesday. Welcome to the Hawaii Fishing Gear Show. We are Hawaii Fishing Gear, highfishgear.com. We're a website where you can go and buy stuff. And we're also a shop where you can come all the way down to Eva Beach and pick up your fishing stuff, browse to fly material, grab some lures, check out our inventory of poles and reels. highfishgear.com. If you guys got questions about fishing, drop them in the comments right now while we're live. I'll do my best to respond to every question that shows up right now while we're live. I have to make sure we're still live on YouTube. I'm going to double check that real quick while I scroll through the questions. I did want to tell you guys about one new product that we added to the website. If you guys remember those little touchless headlights, we sold a lot of them. I think we went through probably 1,000 of them over the last couple years. But as time progressed, basically everybody and their grandma's selling them now. So we wanted to get something different. Here it is. This is a new headlight. It is 600 lumens. It's brighter than the strip headlights. It's $24.99 on highfishgear.com with free shipping. $24.99. 600 lumens. You press the button, boom. Two big bright cob lights comes on. 600 lumens. Press it again, it goes down to 400. Press it again, you get 400 lumens worth of red light. Kind of looks like you're a little robot walking around in the dark. Strobe warning. There's a blinking red. All right. And then also, you press this little button, it looks like a wireless on the side. That activates some infrared motion sensors where you wave your hand. Instead of doing this, you're going to do this. All right. You move your hand over the top, turns the light on, off. On, off. All right. Rechargeable. Plug in a USB cable, recharges it. What more can you say? $24.99 with free shipping on highfishgear.com. It is it's pretty handy. It's a traditional headlight. It has a little angle so you can angle it up or down, focus it where you actually want it. And yeah, there you go. Great deal, $24.99. highfishgear.com. In store, we have them as well. Let's go ahead and check out what questions we got going on. If you guys are watching on TikTok, please feel free to drop your questions in the comments. Let me make sure. All right, close that one. And I think we're live on YouTube. YouTube, if you guys are watching, drop a question in the comments. Let's go ahead and check out. I've only got a few minutes, by the way, because I wanted to tell you guys, I'm going to be starting a live here in about 24 minutes on our Facebook page, High Fish Gear Deals. Put together a nice little collection of items, $1,500 worth of fishing gear retail. Will be going up at 1 p.m. I'm sorry, 4 p.m. 4 p.m. High Fish Gear Deals. We got an Alua pole. We got a nice conventional reel. We got braided line. We got sunglasses. We got LED lights. We got Phoenix headlights. It's a lot of good stuff. We even got some Hawaii Fishing Gear fishing hats. In case you don't know, we sell fishing hats. All right, I saw somebody with a question that some of the people were answering. All right, aloha from Maui. What's up, Maui Blue Ranger? How you doing, brother? All right, what does braid backing do? Okay, so normal dunking reels, you want to put monofilament line on it. Monofilament versus braid. Braid has a smaller diameter. 10-pound test braid versus 10-pound test mono. You're talking like less than half the diameter of braid versus mono. But the only problem is that braid does not respond well when dragged along the reef, which is why we like to recommend monofilament when you're dunking or bait casting. Now, what happens is when you spool the beginning part of the reel with braid, we call that braid backing. Say, for instance, you want to run 50-pound test on your Daiwa Sea Line. You put 50-pound test braid on it, you count it down to about 100 yards, and then you top off the rest with monofilament. Where you might normally get, I don't know, 210 yards of straight mono on that reel. Now you're going to get 100 and maybe 180 yards worth of that mono, but you have 100 yards of braid on the bottom. And when you hit that braid, you already know, whoop, that's it. I got 100 yards left. You might hear about braid backing from a lot of different people that fish. I have discussed this with people throughout the years. People that do have braid backing on their reels, people that don't have braid backing on their reels. It is a pro level. A pro level. If you're just starting out, I don't recommend putting the braid backing on your reel. You can get by with just straight monofilament, 40, 50 pound test on your smaller reels, 50, 60 pound test on your bigger reels. All right. It adds more yardage. There you go. All right. C-line or C-gate, in your opinion, best for starting out? Which one's better? Daiwa C-line or Daiwa C-gate? If you had to choose between the two, and you're just starting out, the Daiwa C-line, I recommend that 9 times out of 10 if you're just starting out. The reason for that recommendation, you have, in those two reels, you have similar line capacity, you have similar gear ratio, you have the same brand maker, same style and everything, but the only thing is with the C-line, you have a little bit more lip on the side of the reel for using to thumb. When you're just starting out, it comes in very handy and saves you from smoking your thumb. In regards to the braid backing, Junior on Facebook just mentioned something. Unless you keep getting spooled. When I said I don't recommend braid backing for guys that are just beginning, that is a pro level. If you find yourself constantly fishing and constantly getting spooled, you are in that higher pro level. That's when you want to go to the braid backing. All right? That's pretty much what I want to say. All right, would a Penn Battalion 2 be better than a Penn Prevail 3 for my Fierce 48K? I personally like the Penn Battalion over the Penn Prevail. The Penn Prevail has a more, the new one that just came out, the Penn Prevail 3, has a more narrow profile. If you put the 12-foot versus the 12-foot, you can tell the Battalion's a little bit more stockier. And I prefer the Penn Battalion for dunking. And it pairs much better weight-wise with that Penn Fierce 4 8K reel. All right. Let's see. See, everybody's recommending the Daiwa C-line. My boy using a Penn 4.0 having a hard time. Okay, if you're having a hard time casting the Penn 4.0, that is not... I want to say it's not a beginner's reel. It's not easy to cast a Penn 4.0 in comparison to some other reels. My recommendations, if you're having a hard time casting a 4.0, I want to say this because I say it to a lot of people that come in the shop. When you go fish with your uncles and your friends who've been fishing for a long time, you will see them line up, cast overhead, give it all they got. You may not be ready for that style of cast just yet, where you're swinging down. Whew, you may not be ready for that. My recommendation is to start little bit light, and I tell people, like, basically just do an underhand, one little flip of the pole. Work your way into that overhead cast. Start off with just a little dump shot. I tell you right now, a 20, 30 yard cast, which I know everybody's, oh, 20, 30 yards. No, I tell you right now, when you first casting, 20 to 30 yards is greater than sitting on the beach pulling out bird's nests. All right? Little flip, 20 to 30 yards, little underhand flip, get it again, 40, 50 yards, flip it again, you get them down. You're watching the spool as it goes. You're thumbing the spool, slowing it down as it's saying. You get a focus on the reel when you're just doing a little flip and things aren't super chaotic when you overhead. Work your way into that overhead until you feel comfortable. Start off slow. Just get little casts. Go practice in the park too. Hopefully that helps you out a little bit with your boy learning the Penn 4.0. Okay. Let's see. And also, what Salty Lavaya said to you in response to your question, tell your boy to stick with it. Once he gets that Penn 4.0 down and he switches over to, like, say, for instance, a Seagate, a Torium 30, he will notice big changes in his cast. When he gets that Penn 4.0, it's kind of like handicapping yourself a little bit, but it's like, riding a bike with training wheels and finally taking the training wheels off, and you zooming down the road. get. Let's see. What do you think about the thorium? The thorium 30 and the Phantom 40. The thorium 30 is, I would say, for bait casting in Hawaii, probably one of the best 40 to 50 pound test reels that you can get for bait casting. It is a low profile, high speed gear ratio, full body. It's not the cheapest reel, but I tell you right now, it is one of the best made bait casters for the way that we fish in Hawaii, the thorium 30. And if you get the extra, or find yourself on Trinidad 30, that's even more fancier with a white handle that turns brown. All right. Let's see what other questions we got on Instagram. I saw one on YouTube. I think we answered a question on YouTube. All right. All right. What size? Okay, what size Heights Fish Gear 4.0 covers fit for Penn Senator wide? You want to go with the large Hawaii Fishing Gear conventional reel covers for a Penn 4.0, Newell 550, Thorium 50. That's the size you want to go with. Philip on YouTube asks, I got an Ugly Stick Big Water 11-foot heavy spinning. What size Penn reel should I use to dunk with? I always recommend going with an 8K. Me personally, I wouldn't want to go dunking with less than 25 pound test. I know there's some guys out there feel very comfortable dunking with 10 pound test, 15 pound test. One of the my first rod sets, and I lucked out. When I started fishing, it took me only about 2 to 3 months before I lucked out and caught my first ulua. What is that? 17 years ago, I caught my first ulua. I lucked out, and I happened to have 25 pound test on my reel. From that day on, I don't like dunking with less than 25 pound test unless I'm just fucking around. Now, on a rod like that, 11 foot, an 8K Penn reel, you can spool up with 25 to 30 pound test all the way straight through, and you're going to get a good amount of yardage on that reel. When you go with something like a size 6,000 versus an 8,000, you're going to get, I would say, 20 pound test max on that. But the 8K, you can do 25 or 30 pound tests. Hopefully that answers your question. I recommend the 8K with that 11-foot Ugly Stick. Is a 6.0 for a Seagate? Okay. All right, here's a question, guys. I got this. Is a 6.0 Penn reel for a Seagate 50, a Seagate 50 and $40 a good trade? 50 Seagate 50 Dre braid and $40 a good 6.0. Okay, China made Penn 6.0 is about 180 bucks. A Seagate 50 is basically 150. I think that if it's a black plate side 6.0, no deal. If it's a red HLW 6.0 and you really need it, that's an okay deal. I would probably go more the Seagate and 20 bucks. Seagate and 20 bucks. All right? And the reel has to be in good condition. All right. Let's see. Thoughts on the Tika medium heavy pole? If you're talking about the Tika salmon steelhead medium heavy, love it. If you're talking about the medium heavy Tika, the Wasabi, the Blue series, I don't know, they go through so many different series, and they even have another new one coming out soon. The medium heavy Tika is all right. Hopefully the price stays under $200. I can't see paying more than $200 for that pole. There is a new one coming out. We may bring it in. And one thing that I asked, hang on one second, I might have lost my audio on Instagram. The one thing I asked the Tika rep when I saw the brand new Aloha pole was, are those guides stainless steel or are they nickel plated? He replied back, he thinks that they're nickel plated. That's one thing I never really liked about the Tika Aloha poles. Those Hilo guides made overseas, you know, you manufacture the poles overseas, you might as well get the guides made overseas. They make them with whatever and they nickel plate them. Nickel plating on Hilo guides with that constant exposure to salt water basically is going to cause that nickel plating to corrode eventually flake off. And guess what? After it flakes off, go and get rusty and you got to toss them. So be wary of that. If you do wind up buying a Tika ulua pole, take care of your guides. Give them a nice rinse, maybe a little little WD-40 every once in a while. Take care of them, all right? Okay, Ken Robinson, Bada Ken, who came down to the shop when he visited Oahu. Ken, I want to publicly acknowledge that I hear your request for red tank tops. At my earliest convenience, Ken, I will bang out 2 red 2XL tank tops sometime this year. All right? You can feel free to keep asking. I appreciate your persistence on YouTube. It's all good. But I want to let you know your persistence has paid off. I am paying attention to your request. And 2 2XL red tank tops, some sort of High Fish Gear logo, I will make them for you this time. All right? But you can keep asking. It's all good until you actually get them. All right, we are at 16 minutes. I want to remind you guys shortly, 4 o'clock, High Fish Gear Deals, our Facebook group on Facebook. We're going to be doing a live auction with $1,500 retail. Ulua pole, Pen Fathom 240. We got Phoenix headlights. We got sand spikes, bells, hats. It's going to be a fun, big banging auction, all right? If you're watching this video later in the day and you made it to this point, mahalo for watching. Take a moment to leave a like on the video. When you guys leave a like on the video, it helps us reach other people, so I appreciate it. All we ask is for a like, and I don't see a whole lot more questions. If I happen to overlook your question, please, once the video posts, go ahead and post it again in the comments. And if you're watching later, ask a question in the comments. We check out almost all the questions. We try to respond to them. If we don't get them today, we try to get them tomorrow. So please feel free to keep asking the questions. Your questions are what make these videos and the comments interesting. We appreciate it. Let's see. Okay, here's another question. I'll get this one more before we go. What's a good rod for slanging some jig heads on the flats? 1/8 ounce jig heads to be exact. So, Supa on Instagram, from what I understand, I talked with Hawaiian Levi. I think he's on right now. I talked to JT from Fool's Gold. When you're casting the 1/8, you want to try to lean towards a rod that has a 1/2 ounce to 3/4 lure rating for those 1/8 jig heads. You think it might be a little bit too light because 1/8 versus 3/4, but the thing is that the 1/8 is just to basically not have such a big profile jig head, and the 1/2 ounce to 3/4 is so when you actually do hook those oil, you've got a good strong rod to fight it, rather than fighting forever ultralight. You're fighting an oil forever on an ultralight rod with no stopping power. The 1/2 ounce to 3/4 allows you to reel in that fish, have a good fight, and also safely release that OEO if that is your plans. All right, I think that's pretty much it, guys. Okay, one more question. I see a good one over there on YouTube. What's up, Corey? What pole over 200 matches a 5K Stella? What pole over 200 matches a 5K Stella? I like the triple cross. I can't remember the exact model number, but it's the one that's rated up to 60 grams. It's just a little bit over 2 ounces. I think that matches nicely with a 5K Stella. And of course, Corey, Wallace is here on Instagram. He's going to mention the Yamaga blanks. Those are pretty solid, especially if you got that high-end reel. Might as well get yourself a super fancy, expensive rod to go with that reel. But check out the triple cross. I think it's a 10-foot. I think they make a 10-foot LSJ. That one's rated up to 50 grams. All right. And Corey, send me a DM on Facebook or Instagram, and I'll give you some model numbers and some links on our website. And then here we go. Yeah, Portuguese gave me the model number. It's the TCX 1002MH. If we don't have it, check out some other shops. Maybe they might have it in stock. You can pair up nicely with that 5K. All right, everybody. Aloha.